Okay. I think this is working? Big old question mark? Oh my god, OBS, you are a pain in my ass already. Okay. I'm gonna double check and make sure this is happening. Oh my god. Here we go. Okay. Phew. Alright. I kind of feel like Neelix. You know, like in Caretaker, when Janeway hails him when we meet him for the first time, "Whoever you are, I found this debris field first." That is me. Okay, I think we're rolling. If you're in the live chat, let me know for sure that this is working. Otherwise, I'm going to start gearing up and we're going to make some soap. If I can find my crap. Okay. I had a feeling OBS was going to be a little bit of a pain on this because every time I load it up and want to select a stream, I have to tell it, I have to like re-sign in, remember my password, all this BS. And you know what? I don't have time for that. If I do this in the future, I might find a better option for this to work. But for the time being, this is very much a test run. Let's just see if we can make it go. This is a pack-led stream. And as you can tell, no fancy microphone. We got a couple cameras going on. Hopefully my head's not going to get in the way of the overhead view, and then you can see me straight forward. But we're going to do this thing. All right, so here we are. Let's get gloves. That's very important. Safety is very important with soap making. These are new gloves, and oh shit, my hands are sweaty. Ugh. Okay. I got a little nervous trying to make the tech go. Just because it's just me in here. I don't have a producer. I've got nobody here to help me. We're just winging it. All right. Okay. I'm going to check over to the chat, see if anybody is here. Hope you all can hear me okay. Let me know. Please, 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 pretty please. All right. And if you want to comment and find that you can't, it's because you got to subscribe to the channel. Because it's just me, I don't have time to look for any rando trolls who would be popping in here and trying to cause havoc. And so you have to be a subscriber and you can comment once every 30 seconds. Just FYI. All right. Glasses go on. Here is what we are doing. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of what we're going to do later. This is a little batch that I made a couple days ago, and I just stamped these. We're making Moopsie, y'all. This is the big drop that's happening in March. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a plain batch of just white soap. It doesn't take very long, so we're going to do that, get it going. And then for basically the second half of this thing, we will take these stamped bars, which I have with a handy dandy custom stamp tool, take some black soap dough. We're gonna fill all the indentations in and make Moopsie's face until about an hour, and then we will quit for the day. All right, so to get started, how about we pour some fragrance? I've got my handy dandy scale here. And because I've made this particular size of 10 bars many times, I know exactly how much I need to pour, which is 3%, aka 42 grams. So here we go. Let's do that. Oh, that smells good. Okay. This particular fragrance is watermelon sugar, which I have not tried before. Now, I have a feeling watermelon sugar is going to be a very popular scent, and so I'm probably going to have to make more of this. But hey, I need to see how it's going to react first, just to see if, say, the fragrance discolors the soap, and since this is a white, or at least an off-white soap, that matters. So we're doing a little test run today. All right, now, oh, I should tell you, this is melted coconut oil. I already took care of the measurement of this because it requires melting in the microwave. And, sorry, I want to see what y'all are saying. Are you there? Are you there? Tell me. Please tell me. I do not see anything yet. Ashley, I know you're out there. If you can text me, let me know. Hopefully that doesn't show up on the video feed. We'll find out. We're gonna try everything today. All right. So aside from coconut oil, we're gonna do some castor oil and then some rice bran oil. And we are going to zero out and pour 116 grams of this stuff. All right. We are doing that. And then we zero out again. We're going to pour quite a bit of rice bran oil. This is the big ingredient. It is rich in vitamin E. It is very good for your skin. And I have found over time with soap making that simpler can be better. So I'm using only 3 oils in my soap. Yes, because frankly, getting really fancy and doing more does not necessarily mean more. So there we go. We are measured out, and I believe that is everything for the scale. So we're gonna get that out of the way. And I just saw a text come in. How are we doing, Ashley? Switch to your live chat. Oh, top chat. Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you. Live chat. Yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it? I don't know what I'm doing, y'all. Never done this. Okay, but there are people here. Hi! Hello, so many random fandoms. Big shout out to Katie, who helped me with this process. Initially, I thought Moopsie was going to be a stencil, and she was awesome about trying many versions of 3D printing stencils for me, which ultimately did not work out, but that helped get to the custom stamp tool, and we are here. So thank you so much for your help on that. And hello, Ambry94. Hello, hello, hello. Nice to see you all here. Thanks so much for joining, especially on a random afternoon. We're just doing this thing. All right. So in this little tub here, I've got melted lye water. And the way I've been doing this particularly lately is a little bit of ice with cold water, and it keeps the temperature down. I used to do something called hot process, which is where I would just take hot lye water and then I'd pour it in the coconut oil and then let it melt the coconut oil. I find that I like this method just a little bit better, so I've been sticking to it. So we're at 77 degrees here. That's really good. And let's see how the oil is doing. Actually, let's see how coconut oil is doing. 108, and then this is room temperature, so 71. Okay. Let's mix these guys together. Now, I don't like to pour all of my oil necessarily into the same container all the time, like all at once as I'm pouring, just in case I over pour something and then you can't take that back. Once you put it in, you can't take it out. So that is why I do the coconut oil separately, then I do the other two, because those are more of a precise pour, honestly, and we can just roll with that. All right, we're gonna mix this together. There's gonna be a little bit of noise when I run the hand blender. Just a heads up, but I think we're ready. Let's combine the things. Okay, there we go. Yes. I should have taken that spoon out. All right, we're gonna blend. All right. A little more. Bubbity bump, 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 bump. Okay. All right. That's good right there. What I'm trying to do with the emulsification is I want to blend it just to the point where the oil and the lye is no longer separated. That's what I'm going for it. But I don't want to blend too much because the more I do that, the more the lye and the oils start the saponification process, which means it starts kind of hardening in texture. You kind of want it to be like pudding as you're pouring it, maybe a little lighter than that even. And then as it starts to harden, it's a little more like Jell-O. And then by the time it's ready to cut, it's a fairly solid bar of soap. It'll be soft, and then it just takes time for it to cure. Usually about 4 weeks is what I give it. And you do want to be careful with lye because it is a caustic material. It can cause burns. That's why I'm wearing glasses. I don't want to burn my eye and lose eyesight potentially. And the thing is, you don't want to be afraid of lye. When I started soap making, I was afraid of it. You just have to respect it, is all. That is the MO. Okay, we've got white colorant in. We're gonna pour in fragrance now. All right. Get that circulating, and then we'll blend one more time. Oh, and thank you for the comment on my blender. I like the blinky lights. Now, why they do that, there's no good reason why they do that. They just do that. But it looks cool, right? Okay. Here we go, here we go. Now let's blend a tiny bit more just to make sure all the colorant is saturated and all of that. All right. That's pretty good. We're at a very light trace. And what that means is, say, as I was shaking the blender, I can see little lines in the soap. I don't know if you can quite see that, but the thicker the trace, the more you're going to see a pronounced line, say when you're pouring soap. All right, and it's time to pour. And let's see, I'm going to do a quick with the ends here because this square container is not my favorite. It doesn't always saturate, but this looks pretty good. So here we go. Let's pour it. And it's basically a little gelatinous substance right now. It's sort of, it's very light changeling-like. It's a little too gooey to be changeling, though, I suppose. At least at the moment. Not for long. And I do not like to waste my soap. Try to get as much in there as I possibly can. It smells so good. Watermelon sugar. There's going to be a lot of different fragrances for Moopsie. A lot of options. And most of them are kind of on like the sweeter side. So what do we got? We have... I started off with Rainbow Sherbet, which was my initial pick for Moopsie. And then I had the idea to do multiple scents. And so then I did Lily Lemon Drop. I also did a Spearmint and Ginger Ale. That's what these guys are. Oh, and Green Apple, which smells superb. And then now we will have Watermelon Sugar. I think that is going to carry us through March. And so given that I'm making this on February 25th, this is going to drop later in March, but you're going to have an initial selection to choose from at the top of the month, as long as I get my crap together. So this is basically done. How's it going there, chat? What would you say is the most difficult part of the soap making process? Temperature control. Temperature means everything in soap making, because if you soap too hot, your soap will set too fast. If you soap... I don't know if there's such a thing as soaping too cold, but it just wouldn't quite work. You have to be really cognizant of that, especially with the more complex of a design you have. Say if you're working with a lot of colors and stuff like that, you want your soap to be kind of in as flexible of a state as possible, meaning you don't want it very thick. You want it to be kind of runny. And if your soap is already moving, that's kind of a problem. And it creates issues where you might not even be able to do the design that you want as a result of that. So you have to be worried about that sort of a thing. Also, fragrances can accelerate your soap batter, meaning it starts that process of hardening it even more. And once that starts, you're on a running clock no matter what, but then you're on an accelerated clock if that happens. And that's just kind of the way it is. It's a lot of trial and error, and only experience tells you what you need to do in the end. It's kind of crazy. All right, so anyway, that is making a very simple batch of soap, and so what's going to happen from here is I'm going to put it over on my kitchen table, cover it up and with a blanket, And what's going to happen is something called gel phase, which helps the bar of soap harden and gets that process rolling a little faster. I'll take it off after about an hour, the blankie that is, and then let this sit for 24 hours covered, and then I'll cut it the following day. And then we're gonna do to this one what we're gonna do to these bars. So excuse me for one moment, I'll be right back. Oh, hi kitties. Okay. Now that that's done, we can get some of the goopy stuff out of the way. Excuse the noise of running water. Okay, just about ready. I am very much a clean as you go type of person, especially with soap making, because even though it is making soap and you think, oh, it's everything's mixed soap, makes it all so clean. No, it is messy. So super messy. At least this part of it is messy, I should say. All right, so we're gonna clean off the countertop. So we don't want any residue, or should I say residue, as we move forward. Just that way, if there's any uncured lye, you just never know. You don't want that to get on your skin or into anything. Like I said, this is my kitchen. If you got into food, you might have a bad time. You don't want that. Okay. I'm going to get a new pair of gloves. These guys have served their purpose. And did I bring another set of gloves? No, I did not. I'll be right back. I thought I planned. Okay. The glasses can come off. Just checking in with all of you in the chat. Just a reminder, if you're not subscribed, I do not see your comments, and I know, Ashley, you are watching, but I don't see you. I don't see you! What the hell? I don't get it. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. We're gonna do the thing. My hands are still wet, though, so let's let them dry out. I don't know if I explained the mica powder. That is how I color the soaps. And it's skin safe. It's like nicely, easily tolerated by most people, and fairly easy to work with, which is nice. Okay, yep, still too much. Okay, we're gonna take a quick drink break. All right. How we doing? Everything sound okay? Everything look okay? Am I putting my head on the overhead a little too much? Please let me know. It's tough to kind of keep track of these things in real time. I'm not always looking because I'm actually focusing on, the thing. Okay. Yes, as a matter of fact, it is Squirt. Still waiting for that sponsorship money. They haven't written me back. Don't know what their problem is. I mean, I'm ready. Let's go. Ugh. Okay, these gloves are tighter than the ones that I had before. I just opened these as a new pack. They're a little sturdier, which is nice. But, holy gosh, okay. All right. Let us move you over, Moopsie. Bring the parchment paper over here. And let's bring these guys over. I'll show you what I found to work. Okay. So this is in soap dough in this container here. This is basically kind of it's obviously not liquefied soap, and it's actually getting pretty hard because it's aged up a little bit, has a finite lifespan, which is why I'm trying to make so much Moopsie, kind of like in one bit of time. I'll try to run this out before I get more. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a little Moopsie face. I think you can see it. Can you see it? Hope you can. And here's what we're gonna do, just like one little chunk at a time. We're gonna fill it in. Try and smear it in there. And if you're wondering, oh my god, you're gonna get it everywhere, it's gonna just be an absolute mess. Yes, it is at first. This is really the only way to get it in there. There's no clean way to do this. But then what I'll do is this is my soaping planer. I'll take once I have Moopsie's face, run it over that. It'll eliminate the top layer, and all this other stuff will go away, and leaving a face. That's how we do it. So, by the way, I was really happy with how ginger ale came out, as well as green apple. That's a new scent to me, the green apple, and oh my gosh, it is delightful. We're doing, some preliminary testing in the Bold Bubbles headquarters kitchen, and I've been using a bar of the green apple, and I just find it delightful. Oh, so yummy. I am a sucker, though, for citrus scents. Folks who like more earthy and cologne-like scents, I think you're going to be disappointed with this drop because I don't have anything new for you, not coming up, but you know that I will, at some point, make more pike and Riker. What else do I make that's got some earthy? Quite a few things. But anyway, I figured Moopsie is a great thing to drop, one, because he's a fan favorite, and two, because Trek Talks is coming up, and Bold Bubbles, I'm trying to get something set up to where Bold Bubbles is going to be a part of that this year, so stay tuned, that's in the works. All right, so here it is. We smeared Moopsie's face on there, and we're just going to keep doing it over and over and over. What I might do is get rid of what's on my gloves right now, and I'll show you the rest of the process before proceeding, and that way if you get bored, you can leave. All right. Let's take this guy. And actually, before we do that, one thing that I do like to do is take just like a straight blade here and go over it one, maybe two times, get a lot of the excess off. You can see that already does a lot, right? Okay, but then watch this. This is, oh no. I'll need to plane these bars a little more, but that's a later problem. All right, so here we go. We're gonna do one pass. Oh, we don't need much more. And, whoops. Oh, shoot, okay. It's too, okay. Did not foresee this coming because I've never cut it so fast, but you see how it took it off? I'm going to restamp this one. So, they need to set for a little while is what I learned. And there's a little Moopsie face. What do I do with these excess bits? I press them into little, like, shampoo type bars and use them just here at the house. A lot of our personal use stuff is excess, fails, which means I have a lot of soap at home, but I also donate some as well. Usually stuff that's perfectly good, but maybe the design doesn't make any sense or whatever. People who don't have any soap are grateful just to have some soap and do not care what it looks like. So I've never had anybody say no thank you. And forgive me, my nose is a little runny. I don't get it. So I think the hardest part of Moopsie, at least etching into his face, is the eyes, just because it requires more soap than seems like any other part, really, because I can do these curvy sections in parts, but the big eye, you want to fill that baby up. And unfortunately, this soap dough is getting a little hard. It's not as pliable as it once was. It's not soft. But it's still workable. We can still use it. So let's use it. Work with what we have, not maybe necessarily what we want. But anyway, yeah. We're doing it. We're putting it together. I'm just glad that the stamp worked, because when the stencil didn't turn out as I planned, because it just did not stick, and I didn't know what to do from there, I thought, how am I going to make this happen? I really, really, really want to do this. What do I do? Started looking at a whole bunch of other things and then found, oh yeah, the stamp tool. And then of course you go on Etsy and find people who do this all day, every day, and then it's fine. And you get your stamp. Weird story about the stamp, though. The stamp was made by a company in Oregon, and that's not super far away from California. Somehow it got shipped to Tennessee, and that was right when one of those really nasty winter storms that have happened was happening. So it got stuck there for a couple of days, and then started coming back. Like, really? What a pain in my ass. I was so excited, and then all of a sudden, what are you doing in Tennessee? Because yes, I do watch trackers obsessively. I gotta make sure that, especially orders, like I want to make sure they're getting there all on time and okay. Don't want people complaining or worried, either way. And that way I'm on the up and up. So if anybody needs help or answers, I can help you. When you run a little business like this, you do a little bit of a lot of things. You are customer service, you are the manufacturer, you are the advertiser and the marketer, unless you have help from friends like Ashley, who has been helping me with my social media posts the last few months, and in exchange I've been working on her website. So thank you for that, Ashley. Big shout out to you for basically when I've needed to ignore my social media accounts. You've been there, so thank you. And that way I can focus on, like making the soap or doing the other things. Or as the case was at the top of this year, holy crap, I had a nasty work issue take over, and it just sucked away all of my time, energy, my mental health, everything. It sucked, but we got through it. Okay, so there's 2 down. Now, when I make a big batch of 15 of these bars, this feels like it goes on and on and on and on. And the only way out really is through. I don't think there's any better way to do this, but if people out there are watching who are smarter than me have suggestions, please let me know. I am open to ideas. All right. But bit by bit we get there. How's everybody doing? Tell me in the chat what you're up to today besides listening me blather on. And once again, I appreciate you all being here, taking the time. Especially with this being a first stream. You just never know how these things are gonna go. But that's how you learn, right? You gotta be willing to fail. Okay. Getting there. I like to be thorough. So I want to make sure every little iota of these is filled, especially since I do have to plane a little bit of a layer. And no, Moopsie's face doesn't go all the way into the bar of soap. So eventually, as you use a bar, it will fade away. However, my preliminary testing has shown that it lasts several full scrubs and then some, especially if you work from the back. That's what I'm trying now, is how long can it last if you lather more from the back side and try to avoid Moopsie's face. I think it's helping a little bit. But we're not finished with that test yet. Still working on it. That's the other thing is everything I make has been or is tested on myself and my husband. We're human tested at this company. As is the case for a lot of businesses like mine that are small and handmade. But that said, you know exactly what is going on you, which is something that I do appreciate. Something that I got into as far as soap making goes was actually trying to make my own lotion first, body lotion, because that stuff can get pretty expensive. I wanted to see if I could do it, and somehow that led to soap instead, and then became an obsessive hobby to the point where I was making so much of it, it was way beyond what I could even give to friends and family and what have you. Eventually decided, you know what? I'm going to open up a business. And I did that for a little while pre-COVID. It was called Char's Golden Goods. And then I got a job that was full-time, like full-time, with a commute, and I could not do both. I couldn't go to that job and run the biz, so I closed it down. And then COVID happened, and I changed jobs and careers entirely, got into the web stuff, and decided eventually that I miss making soap, and thought of the Trek angle and thought, hey, I've got a lot of Trek fans who like follow me on social media and have friends who can help spread the word. Let's just see if it happens. And we've been doing this thing since 2023. So thank you for your support. You help me maintain my obsession without without absolutely driving my husband insane. I'm sure he thanks you all for that. Because it can be an expensive hobby if it's just for you. I mean, buying equipment like the soap molds and stuff like that, those are investments for sure. You get a lot of wear out of them, but they don't come cheap. Not good ones anyway. Not ones that you beat into the ground. Alright. I'm gonna quick check in the chat here. Go to the browser, make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. Still don't know if I'm seeing all of your comments. I wonder, did I make it too restrictive? I'm not sure. Yeah. And I don't know if I can change it during a stream. Probably not. I don't know. Next time I won't be as restrictive and then make it more of a free-for-all. Just see how it goes. But this time around, I think we're stuck with what we have for this one. If you're watching this after it is live, I'm pretty sure comments will be open, and would love to know if you enjoyed seeing some of this process, how the soapy sausage is made, and would you do another live stream? Would you want me to do another one? I'd love to know. Because if this is boring as all heck, we don't have to. But if it's interesting, next time I'll do something more interesting too, as far as like the actual soap design, not just plain Jane white. Maybe I'll do something like, I don't know, Jankum Pog, which is mostly, it's a technique called a drop swirl, where you take your colors and you hold them at a certain height as you pour it into the mold. And then what happens is as you build the layers, but going between different colors, it creates kind of like a droop pattern. If you go to Bold Bubbles website right now, that is how Uhura soap is made. It's a similar deal. And so like with Jankum Pog, I do kind of a fleshy tone with shades of brown. And then at the top, you know, we got to go kind of magenta craziness for his hair and make it wild. And then I try to spike it at the very end. So, and that is a really good scent too. Rosemary Mint. I had no idea I would like that one as much as I do. And I have somebody who just likes to get an entire batch of that for themselves because they love it so much. And that is another thing that I need to actually put on my website. There's so much to do. Uh, but if you ever love something so much that you know you want to have a supply of it always, I can make a whole batch of a particular scent, design, whatever, just for you, as long as you tell me what you want, and then I can tell you how much I can make of that particular design. It does vary a little bit. So for instance, if you say want a TNG uniform, I can only do that at the moment with the 10 bar mold. But let's say you want to do like a Jankum Pog, or, oh, I don't know, what else? I don't know, Andoria, or a lot of my swirly stuff, like Coffee Nebula, that stuff I can make into as big of a batch as 15. Right now, that's the biggest guy I've got. And that's a newer development, too. That's the newest one I have. Scaling up, a little scary. The margin of loss for failure, as you make more soap in one batch, if it messes up, you lose so much more. I don't like it. It's a little scary. I'm learning how to deal with it, though. I think I've been doing this just long enough to know what is a sure thing and what isn't, and if I need to experiment. Otherwise, I work with smaller batches, but even so, that first time with a really big mold for any recipe is a little scary. Okay, one moment. I'm going to take a quick break here. Okay, and I'm going to take a paper towel. There's my head. All right. My face is a little sweaty with all of these lights on. They're usually not on this long. I do have them for like the actual soap making videos that I make, but I'm not doing that for almost, like an hour, like I will be for this sort of a thing. Normally making a batch of soap, the recorded process takes maybe 20 minutes, depending on the design and how it behaves. Okay, I'm not seeing updates from the chat. It's been a while, and I'm sure you're commenting out there. I don't know what's up with that. Let me look here. Okay, yeah. It's still going, though. Okay. I had to double check. This is why real shows get producers and have people watching out for technical stuff. It's not the easiest thing. The problem that I ran into right before deciding to do this was that StreamYard, which was my original choice to do this, got really expensive. And I thought, okay, I want to do this, but not for that much. No, I do not. And I know there's alternatives out there. If folks want to see more live streams on this channel, I might look into those and just see if that makes the process a little easier and a little more foolproof on my end. And that way we are all having a better time. Because that's the point, right? Is this should be fun. Live streams are supposed to be fun. Like Star Trek and Chill, which I do on a lot of Fridays. That is fun, and Katie is there. Ashley joins the chat a lot of times when she's available. And that is really what we do, is we talk Star Trek, we pour ourselves a beverage, we chill. It's a great way to cap off what might be a long week or just a stressful week. Whatever kind of week you're having, you can just celebrate it and enjoy it. Okay, one more to go. All right, and as I've been working on the soap dough, I think my body heat has actually helped it soften just a little bit. The idea is to keep it as airtight as possible while you're in the process of working through it so it doesn't completely harden, otherwise it just becomes another bar of soap. And so the more you starve it of oxygen, the longer it lasts. And this has already been open for, well, the better part of a month now, since I've been working on Moopsie. And yeah. So, I mentioned that some stuff's going to drop a little later in March. And so what's going to start off the month? Rainbow Sherbet, Lily Lemon Drop, and Spearmint will definitely be ready to go. And then mid-March is probably going to be Green Apple. And then toward the end of the month, let's use the 25th today, let's say the 25th of March, right before Trek Talks, you're going to get Ginger Ale and Watermelon Sugar. They'll be ready. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, we did it, with the exception of this guy. And I do wonder, I've got the stamp right here. I wonder if I ought to just try. Just do it right now. These bars are still pretty pliable. Now, normally I take a rubber mallet and do these, but I'm gonna take a chance. Use my muscles! Okay, that doesn't look bad. Okay, we're gonna do this thing. I don't like to give up. And then we will try your face once again, Moopsie. Yeah, here's hoping that I gave you enough time this time to dry out, and that way you'll be in good shape. Also, when I don't have dirty gloves on, I will take to the sides and the edges, make the edges nice and soft. That way they are not, like when you have a hard bar of soap, if you have just a hard edge, it actually doesn't feel so great. So softening that up just a little bit makes all the difference to me. So it's like a little luxury thing. Okay, oh, this guy wants to get messy. Moopsie. At least he's not trying to kill me, right? I've been trying to think of the description for Moopsie in the store, and it's too similar to Armus right now, but it's something to the effect of, you know, yes, he's cute, he smells good, this one won't kill you. Something to that effect. I'm not sure how well this is going. This might end up being a bar for me. But we'll find out. We'll see. We'll trial it. That's okay. I'm almost out of the green apples, so maybe about the time I'm done with that bar in the shower, this one will be about, well, maybe not quite ready. No, it'll wait, but then afterward, after another kind of variety. Okay, just a shred more, buddy. Okay, I think we're gonna call that good. It's getting messy in here. Alright, let's wrap the dough back up. Let's see. Okay, that's all the material I've got. Alright. And shake this off. Maybe wipe this down, actually. Because, off with ye! Okay. And parchment back down. There we go. Alright, gloves off. Dry hands. And let's start working on these guys. So we're gonna take this straight blade again, wipe off excess as much as possible. I wish I could just do it all this way, but I have found that that does not work. It gets so close, but not quite. Yeah, just so you can see. All right. And a gun. Okay. I do wonder if I should let these sit for just a little bit after this process before I plane them. Because these are brand new baby bars. And they do feel a little softer than... Normally when I do this, it's a couple of days. And this is 1 day. So apparently that does make some difference. Okay. Trying to wipe off excess so that it doesn't get in the way, but we're actually at a point now where it wants to smear. Fun! Okay. This is another little issue I have with Moopsie is if there's little holes in the bar, you see that the soap dough goes in? Not a whole lot I can do about that, but it's a known issue. Every bar of soap has teeny little, I guess pore-like holes like that. And again, if there's a more precise way I can do this and avoid that problem, cool. I'd love to know what it is. I just don't know what it is. All right, getting there, getting there. All right. Maybe try just a little more. Yes and no. Okay. Oh, come on. There, that one's getting pretty clean. All right, there. That's more like it. All right. And this guy, I do wonder how this will go. Yeah, you're still a little iffy. That one might have to be set aside. I don't know if I've got much faith in that one. No faith of the heart. None. Do just a little more. Some of these still look a little too messy to me. Ugh. I wish it could just come out perfect. Nothing ever does, though. That is a great lesson soap making will teach you. Is perfection? No such thing. Some people can make it look real good, but it is always a practice. All right, let's take this guy, see how it goes. Like so. That's the way it is. All right, and so then with that, what I do when I plane my bars is I see if sides are equal. Because I cut with a knife, it's not always completely even. Some sides are a little more pronounced than others, so I try to even those up with the planer, like I am right now, just taking that bigger edge and whittling it down until it looks about even. Doesn't have to be perfect, because, like I said, what is? Certainly not my soap. All right, and that's a little bit better. So now we can go to the edges. We're gonna get all the corners. And on the sides. And that way, nothing stabs you when you lather with your Moopsie bar. And so help me, if it does come alive and try to kill you, discontinue use immediately, please. But there we have it. That is a planed bar of soap. Maybe this would be the easier way to show you. Like so. Just a little bit off the edges there. And then that's it. From there, we let Moopsie sit, dry out, and become a hard bar of soap. And that is pretty much it. That is what is happening in March. And again, it's going to be kind of a multi-phased thing. A few will debut in March with more to come. And I hope they're going to be really popular. I hope everybody wants Moopsie. Because aside from Moopsie, I do have one other thing dropping in March, and that is the Klingon Empire. I put out a thing on Blue Sky. It said, hey, I've got some blood orange fragrance. What do you think would be a good match for it? And every suggestion had something to do with Klingons. Now, it was different Klingons. Every answer was a different Klingon, but I thought, okay, if I can't pick just one Klingon, we're going to do all Klingons. And that is essentially what I did, is I took the colors of the Klingon flag, so red, black, gold, and white, and drop swirled them. And they ended up looking really cool. And so I can't wait to show you those. That's also coming out March 1st. And after that, I can't even think about what's coming next after that, because I have too much shit going on. I always do. But I think with that, everybody, I'm going to stop the stream now. Once again, let me know if this was interesting, if you liked watching the process, and if so, we'll do this again sometime. And thank you